Hi there. Finally, after almost 4 weeks of grey, dull skies, we have sun in Delhi. And that's a cause for celebration. And I'm celebrating with the Jaguar I-Pace. This is Jaguar's first all-electric car, and this in India costs a pretty penny at about 1.1 crore rupees. Oh boy, I mean, I had the Tata Tiago ICNG parked next to it, and you could buy 20 of those for one of these. I mean, they both come from the house of Tata after all. Anyway, so how is this to drive? Like all electric cars I have driven so far, from the German companies and elsewhere, electrics are great fun to drive. They're also superbly economical. I mean, this particular car has given me a mileage of it takes a 22.3 kilowatt hours, 400 kilometers. So basically, I am getting almost 4 kilometers per kilowatt hour per unit of electricity. That works out to an operating cost of just 2 rupees per kilometer. Take something like the Range Rover Sport, a car you can compare these two because it costs more or less the same. And if I want to buy the Range Rover Sport with the petrol engine, oh god, which I would for comparable performance, let's put it like this, it will cost me at least 12 to 15 rupees per kilometer just on fuel cost alone. I'm saying a comparative car, but of course, if you were to buy, say, a Jaguar F-Pace, which is a bit cheaper in diesel, for example, with a fairly efficient diesel engine, yeah, you probably run it at about anywhere from 8 to 10 rupees a kilometer. So it's not a debate about operating costs. It's a debate about why these cars are so expensive in India. Well, the reason many of these cars are so expensive in India, and the reason Tesla has been arguing with the government, is because you pay a lot of import duties on cars in India. Imported cars in India cost over double what they do when they are shipped from the factory. And that is the important point I want to lay out over here. What is Tesla saying? Tesla is saying, India should have a lot more electric cars, but the market is too small to manufacture electrics in India right now. That said, Mercedes-Benz has said that the EQS, their S-Class electric, will be assembled in India. And when you do assembly in India, you can bring down costs significantly, even though the EQS will likely still cost double that of, say, a GLS or a S-Class, because that is the way taxation is, even for semi-knockdown kits. And electric cars are, on the whole, slightly more expensive than comparable petrol and diesel cars. Now, primarily that is because that the batteries cost a bomb. And with current commodity prices, particularly for lithium and cobalt, which are the primary components of battery packs that vehicle manufacturers such as Jaguar, Land Rover use, I don't see battery prices coming down. So electric cars will still be more expensive. The question is, will they be affordable, and will you save money operating them despite the higher capital costs? Yes, you will save money. Is the saved money going to make up the capital cost? For two-wheelers, it definitely is already getting there, even though with two-wheelers you have to understand there is a government subsidy. But even without the government subsidy, I think an argument can be made that two-wheelers are already around the flip over point. Say if you ride a lot every day, particularly if you have something like a delivery job for fast food service or something like that. Now, I'm not going to get into other. I'm not going to get into why Tesla? Now, when Elon Musk wrote about issues, several state governments, particularly non-BJP ruled state governments, bent over backwards. Oh, please come to my state and manufacture here. India's market for such expensive cars is extremely limited. Even with a lot of assembled in India cars nowadays by Audi, BMW, Mercedes, the market for the luxury market in India, even Lexus is making the ES in India now, assembly, is very limited at about 25 to 30,000 vehicles a year. And I mean, for manufacturing to make sense in India, you have to have a large enough market, period. Nobody's going to set up a manufacturing unit when your addressable market is only anywhere between 25 to 40,000 cars, because you're not going to get 100% market share. So I think I am all for electrics, and I don't want to address what the founder of an electric two-wheeler startup said about Hormuz, but I'm all for electrics. I mean, honestly speaking, if I could afford it, I have a young son. Vehicular air pollution is real. Even though in a city like Delhi, construction dust far outweighs vehicular dust. And despite the government themselves being the largest constructor in Delhi, they haven't done much to deal with the copious amounts of construction dust. So yeah, these are some issues, and we need more electric cars. And what can the government do over here? I mean, I would love to see something like the Jaguar I-Pace, not just assembled in India, but have more, have some of the panels. I mean, a lot of the things will still be imported. For example, keep in mind, even if we electrify our vehicles, a lot of the components are not currently made in India, even for two-wheelers, where we see a huge addressable market. Things like the motors that run, all China has that industry. The batteries are either made by LG Chem or Panasonic or Chinese companies. The lithium, you can say, oh yeah, but the biggest mines are in Australia. Do you realize that the biggest mines in Australia are owned by the Chinese? You have to build up a full electric ecosystem. Yes, we all want cheaper electric cars, but cheaper electric cars can only come when we build up the ecosystem. And in my opinion, one way of building up that ecosystem, honestly, is by encouraging imports of electric cars such as this Jaguar I-Pace by bringing down import duties. And I'm not saying bring down import duties massively. If, say for example, the government of India told manufacturers such as JLR, BMW, Audi, that we'll let you import 1,000 cars or even less, 500 cars every year under electric only, under a lower taxation regime. So when something like this Jaguar I-Pace, which will always be more expensive than an equivalent F-Pace, or say a BMW iX will always be more expensive than an X5. An Audi e-tron will always be more expensive than a Q5, even with lower excise duties. But say the e-tron, which costs similar to this of 1.1 crores, whereas a Q5 costs 65 lakhs. If you could bring it in at a lower rate of duty, because electric cars will be spared, you can maybe bring in an e-tron at, say, 80 lakhs. And at 80 lakhs, a car like this at 80 lakhs or 85 lakhs, where it only has, say, 10 to 15 or even 20 lakh differential between ICE SUV and something like this. At current fuel prices, you'll actually flip the conversion. At current fuel prices, and fuel prices are going to increase. Brent crude is already hitting peaks, and now they won't increase it before the elections right now, but fuel prices after post-elections are going to go up by 5, 6, 7, 8 rupees. so per liter for both petrol and diesel. And then the running cost advantage of something like this I-Pace to say even a diesel F-Pace or even a petrol Range Rover Sport will be massive. So it's you give that, and you see what will happen is when you bring in these cars, you'll build up the charging network. You'll build up because you know when you have these high-end cars, Jaguar, Audi, BMW, they'll put up these CCS2 chargers that charge at anywhere between, you go from 7.7 kilowatt hours per charging per hour to 25 kilowatt hours. I mean, Tata Power has a few of those already established in some petrol pumps in Delhi, and you'll get more of those, and you'll get many more of those if you just give car makers the license to import 2,000, 3,000. Yes, it will benefit the higher up, the richer in society, but it will also bring in technologies. It will also allow, say for example, rescue personnel to know how to rescue people in an electric car, and that is the problem. An electric car can give a fireman, if you have an accident and they've got to use a saw, this jaws of life as they call it, when you have to cut open a car to rescue occupants. Do you need to do things differently when you have an electric car? Yes, you do. So those trainings will happen. Those things will come in. I personally believe that is one way of getting this going. As for this car, oh man, I really like it. Jaguar's done a good job with their but the maps haven't been there. I am actually near a charging station, not that far away. There's a charging station 2 kilometers down the road at an Indian Oil petrol pump. So I think a lot more needs to be done. I think Jaguar has done a great job. I'm again not fond of the fact that JLRs, Audis, Mercs don't have wireless Apple CarPlay, a feature now you get on, you get in the Renault Kaiga. And a car like this not having it, a bit of a bummer. But really good fun to drive. And yesterday I took this car out on the open road, Christie Road through the ridge. Oh, really nice. The weight of the batteries down low makes this car really steady. I mean, body roll is almost alien to this car. No matter what you do with the SUV, and no matter how good SUVs have become right now, with reducing things like body roll, they are physically not that adept. This car is brilliant, I think, and I love the seat heating function. And it's actually very economical to run. It's a lovely car to run, but it's 1.1 crores. It's not cheap. It is extremely expensive. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this car. Really enjoyed driving it. I think it's a fantastic car to drive. Really enjoyed driving this car. So yeah, do let me what you think about this suggestion of mine, that would the government give electric vehicle manufacturers a benefit, whether it's Tesla, whether it's BMW, Audi, whoever. Bring in 500 cars a year, lower tax. Of course, your car number 501 onwards, you pay a higher rate of duty, or you have it rated. First 100 cars, almost no duty, then second 100, third 100. You'll build up a market that way, and you'll get up there. Yes, there are people still buying the Jaguar I-Pace. Yes, the Audi e-tron's been relatively successful, as is the Mercedes-Benz EQC. But those are people who are buying the car for altruistic reasons, and most buyers do not buy cars for altruistic reasons. The luxury car market in India is still a very price-sensitive market. Nobody's going to spend not nobody, but unless you're super wealthy, you're not going to spend 1.1 crore on a car when you can get an equivalent car for 40 lakhs cheaper. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Would you buy an electric car when it is so much more expensive than a petrol or diesel car because you care about the environment, or you care about the performance of an electric car? Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and keep watching this channel. Do subscribe for more such videos. And we'll try and get to these thought questions about the Indian automotive industry in more videos as well. Thanks a ton, buddy.